So again, a big thank you to the publisher of Vardi. And he brought us another impressive author. Before Jörg Ziprit was mentioning the importance of pastry and baking these days. And that's normal to have from Israel, from Tel Aviv, the most successful book, because it is the most successful bakery shop in a pastry shop in Tel Aviv. So you see Lioroooosh baking from my Tel Aviv kitchen. Thank you so much for being here, because Lior is a big pastry chef now, but she's a chef, a classical chef, and has been trained in many very prestigious restaurants, and some of them in Scandinavia.
Thank you. That is true. Hi. It's such a pleasure to be here today. So it's true, actually, I've been a pastry chef for a little over than 10 years, trained in the United States and worked in Israel and in America and even in Australia. But one of the things that really, the thing that made the biggest change in my career was when I had the privilege a few years ago to intern in restaurant Noma in Copenhagen. An honor just as much as standing here today. Honestly can't believe that I got accepted. And I think one of the things that made such a big difference for me interning at Noma, aside from the different techniques and foraging for food and meeting people from all over the world, was actually the fact that every week on my day off, I sat down and I wrote about what it is that we did that week. It was really important for me to kind of experience everything and to remember everything and to have a minute to kind of digest it, so to speak. So every week I sat down and I wrote what it is that we did that week. And I wrote the stories and the people that I met that week, and the different foods that we prepared that week, and the different station that I was in. And before I knew it, a blog came to life. And it was the first blog I wrote since I was a teenager, so you can assume it was very low tech. And I sent it to my friends and to my family, just so that they would know what I'm doing every day, because I'm in the restaurant for 18 hours a day. It was really hard to keep up. And the great thing was that they sent it to people, and they sent it to people. And before I knew it, people I didn't know were reading the blog and commenting. And I realized that there's a story here that people are interested in reading, and that was quite amazing. And I've always wanted to write a book about my family heritage, my mom's cooking, my grandmother's cooking, and it wasn't until then when I realized that there's actually more to the cooking. There are the stories behind the food. And when I came back to Israel, I went back to the restaurant. I worked in a restaurant in Tel Aviv, and I was trying to think, how can I write this book? And I actually, I tried fundraising and everything, and it didn't work. It was not quite ripe yet, because, you know, some things need a little more time to happen. And I kept on working, and I kept on doing my thing. And it took a few more years before I realized that I can now actually write my book, and I know even more definitely what it is. And when I came back to Israel, like I said, I came back to the restaurant, but after about a year or two in said restaurant, I decided it's time to open my own business. And the reason I did that was because once I came back from Copenhagen, I actually started hosting baking workshops in people's homes. Because I didn't have a facility to do that in, so I just came to people's homes with bags of ingredients, and if needed, with a mixer. And I realized this really unbelievable thing. I realized that people are afraid of baking. And that is amazing, I think, because people have been baking for tens of thousands of years, you know? That's kind of insane, right? It's so natural. It's way more natural than holding a phone. I'm just saying. So I thought, all right, I mean, I have some experience, I have some knowledge. I can make it look easier and maybe teach people how to make their own bread and their own cake and just, you know, simple things that can make every meal amazing. So after a while, I decided I'm gonna do things from my own home. And I designed my home as a baking studio. I live there, but I mostly bake from there. And I host workshops in my home, and I have people over for meals, and everything is kind of happening from my Tel Aviv kitchen, which is also the title of my book. And I think the most important thing that I took from Noma is the hospitality, because a lot of people, they hear Michelin star restaurant and they think, oh, I need to wear a tuxedo, I need to be very fine. But the thing you don't realize if you haven't dined there yet, and I say yet because I hope you all will, is that you can come as you are. You can be as casual as you want to be or as fancy as you want to be. And the minute you walk through the door, every single person who works in this restaurant, and I'm talking about the cooks and the waiters and the dishwasher, will stop everything it is that they're doing. They will come to the front and they will say, welcome to our restaurant. We really hope you have a pleasure here tonight. That's our intention. And that is what I'm doing in my business every single day. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm literally bringing people into my home. So I really hope they have a good experience there. And you know what? Actually, before I continue, I'd like to show a little video of what that looks like. Thank you. So this is what it looks like when you bring people into your own home or to my own home. And it is the biggest pleasure because I can do things my own way. You know, I don't have to answer to a different chef or to trends. I can do simple and delicious food, things that taste good to me. And it was a few years after I started doing this that I realized my book has ripened. I can now share the stories that brought me to where I am. including the story of how my mother bought her first KitchenAid when I was in high school, a dream that she had for as long as I can remember, or the memories of standing on a stool and just making pound cake with her, or my grandmother's dishes that I learned more and more of throughout actually working on the book, because both my grandmothers passed, but they were both amazing cooks. And we talked a lot about heritage, and we talked a lot about the past and the future of food. And for me, writing this book and getting closer to my own recipes and the stories that led me here made me also very, very much closer to them. The women, the great women, who somehow managed to live through my hands every single day. I feel them. And my book is not only recipes, it is a lot of recipes, almost 70 recipes, but it's also a lot of stories, because I don't think a recipe stands alone ever, right? I mean, when we think about the perfect bite, we think about where we had it and what was the whole scenery. And I think it has to be a part of that. So that's what I was trying to do here. And I want to thank Eduardo and the Quinteros for acknowledging it. This is truly the most amazing thing. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Leo. So now we're moving to the other side of the world with also somebody that is extremely technical in what he does, and he's so technical he has invented